Hello, friends. Today I'm hosting Beatriz and Jaison, and our conversation will be dedicated to the relationships in Indian families. And I would like to ask you to introduce yourself. Where are you from? What do you do? So that our listeners to know you a bit better. And let's start with Beatriz. Beatriz, can you please tell us a few words about yourself?
Okay. I was born in Brazil. I am from Southeast Brazil, and I work with programming. And a few years back, I was working with biology. I am actually a microbiologist.
That's great. That's a very interesting profession, actually. And what about you, Jaison? Can you please
Uh,
introduce?
so yeah, I am from South India, basically from Karnataka, and I work as a data engineer, and I also a few years back I graduated in mechanical engineering.
Oh, that's that's a big switch, guys. You're you changed your actual professions, yeah, and started doing something else. And of course, the first question which I would like to ask you, how did you guys meet? Brazil and India, it's like a huge distance. Can you please share your beautiful love story with us? And I would like to ask Beatrice first, did you ever think that you will marry someone from a totally different culture, and especially from India? Were you interested in Indian culture before you met Jaison, actually?
Yeah, not at all. I didn't expect to meet an Indian or to end up in a relationship with an Indian. Um, but I always had an interest in India and its culture. I think it's a very beautiful, very rich culture. I've always liked Indian culture, but I never had the intention to actually have a relationship with any Indian person.
So you already knew something about India before you met each other?
Yes, actually, it's funny because the things I knew about India were things that he didn't know, right? He's from South India, right? It's very different from the rest of India, right? India has very particular cultures in different places. So the things I knew, he didn't know about India himself.
He's more Indian than me.
Yeah, that can happen because you know that if you compare South India and North India, it's like two different worlds. So if you know something about the North, it doesn't mean that it's exactly the same in the South. So yes, I can imagine. And how did you guys meet? Who wants to tell the story?
She, she, go ahead.
Um, We actually, as he said, as we said, right? I was working in biology before he was working in in mechanical engineering. So we both decided we wanted to learn programming, right? So that's exactly how we met. We went to a programming learning platform, and then we used to, they have like this system where you can challenge people in the language you're learning. So we would challenge each other all the time. Then we started talking. And that's how we met.
That's
Yeah.
great. And Beatrice, how fast did you understand that he is actually the one? Which qualities impressed you the most in Jaison while you were talking to each other?
Well, it took a while actually. We started dating like 6 months after we met. We were friends for a few months. Um, but the things that impressed me more about him, even to today, is how optimistic he is, and he has impressive problem-solving skills that I get impressed into today. He's like, whenever I he's faced with a problem, he never thinks like, oh my God, this is a very hard problem, something like that. His mind goes straight to the solution, and that's very impressive. I love
Yeah,
that.
that's true. I think I need to learn from you how to do that because I'm always fail. Yeah, if there is some problem, yeah, I start panicking. Yes, it's a really good quality. And I would like to address the same question to you, Jaison. What did you like
Yeah.
about Beatrice, and how fast it took for
Yeah.
you to realize, yeah, that she is the one with whom you would like to spend the rest of your life?
Yeah. she was like more open about learning the Indian culture and especially learning about me myself, and she was always compliments me like on everything I do. Like I was working on this programming platform and she used to compliment me. Then when I started working also, actually she used to compliment me, and she was always that person who compliments and who is being the best complimenter. And she was also very nice to my family initially. Like when we were friends also, we used to know each other's family, and she was very much interested in knowing my family, and she was very open about the things we talked. So there was no stereotype, there was no racism, there was no like our religion, like bit different, but she was very okay with this. So then we got at a point like we felt comfortable with each other.
No, that's really nice to hear. And I would like to ask, what was the reaction of your families actually when you told them, yes, that you are with someone? When you told Beatriz to your family that you are in love with someone from India, how did they react?
Yep. Uh,
Me first?
Yes,
Sorry.
yes. You
Yeah.
can tell. Yes.
Uh, Actually, like there wasn't exactly a point where I told them that we were like that I knew him, because from the very beginning, I would always say like, oh, I met this Indian person. We talk about this. He was very much a part of my life from the beginning, even when we were just friends. Uh, I would, when I went to a place with my mom, for example, I always say like, oh, my Indian friend would like to get to know uh, this culture, this part of our culture, this thing. I'm gonna show it to him and all. So somehow my family has always known, but when it became serious, uh, they were a bit worried, right? How if not because of him being Indian, but because of it being long distance, right?
Yeah.
Like how real it was, right? How true it was, if he was really the person he was showing he was to me, right? That's the biggest concern.
Yes, of course, I can understand that your parents were worried about you if it will work out, first of all. And Jaison, what about your family? Because, there are a lot of, let's say, sometimes stereotypes about India, that Indian parents are so strict, so conservative. They don't want to have foreigner daughters-in-law, so they prefer Indian girls. So did they actually, they were happy to hear that, or there were some troubles in the beginning? So what was the reaction?
Actually, in the beginning, it was all nice because we were friends, right? So, as she was introducing me to her family, I was also introducing to her my family, and we with the family we got very comfortable with that. But when things got a bit real, right? When I had to travel to see her, and so they were a bit worried also because I am going to that far distance, and everybody knew like she exists, and she was nice and all, but biggest worry was like whether they will allow me to come back, which was like not um, I don't know, like everybody has that worry, especially the Indian moms, maybe like what will happen if they don't allow. Like there was nothing, to be realistic, those things like do not happen, right? If you're traveling a tourist visa, right? So I was explaining that, but always that worry was there. Other than that, like there was no especially any issue with she being part of my family. Like we were okay with it, and religion was also not a problem. Family was okay, and so the other part was where it was like me moving to here, right? But it was decided very like it. We initially talked about it like I always wanted to go there and all, but when that happened, also there were some issues, and fortunately, like it happened now, and we are good with it, and the family also support our decision. So,
Yeah, no, that's really important. And how long actually did you like talk online before you met in Rio? So how
2 years. It's like currently we completed 5 years of uh, being in relationship, right? And initially we met in 2021, right? 2020, and I visited Brazil for the first time in December 2022. Yeah.
yes, so it was actually Beatriz who came to India first to see you. No.
No, no, I
No.
visited Brazil for the
So
first time.
you came to Brazil first.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would like to ask you, what was your first impression about this country? Because I know that Brazilian culture and Indian culture are totally different, and to people as well, because I met a lot of Brazilians abroad. I would say that they're very cheerful people. They really enjoy life to the fullest. Let's say it like that. So, what was your impression? How did you feel in Brazil when you visited this country for the first time?
It was totally a different experience here. Especially the people were very nice, and especially her family welcomed me. I was staying in her family, and everybody in her family, even her long family like she had, everybody was so nice to me. I never felt anything bad with the family. And the only issue was like which I knew already. It's bit not safe, like in safe in the
Yeah.
sense. Not like India, it's like the issues Brazil has, right? So I was worried, and she also told me be careful about all those things, the robbery, the drugs, everything, right? But other than that, she was always being was with me whenever I travel, and also that was not a issue. So everything went well. Then we had a nice vacation. It was a very short trip, right? Like 18 days something. And out of them, like 2 days goes in the travel itself. So overall, it was very nice, very pleasant experience. And it was the first time I could meet her and in real. So it was definitely a very nice time we spent.
Yes. Of course, it was very important to meet each other in person, because I think like when you talk online and when you see finally each other, it's a totally different feeling. And Beatrice, after how many years you went to India? So
I
first time,
went
Next in a year.
next year, right? December also,
Yeah,
November, right?
yeah, 2023.
In November 2023, then I went.
and
Then I could spend a lot of time there, right? He was working when he came. He was working in the office, so he only had a vacation to come, right? But I was working from home, so I got to be able to spend 3 months there and work from there. So that
and
was
I would like to ask you,
very nice.
how did you feel in India? Did you imagine India like what you actually saw, or did you have something else in your mind? So did you feel comfortable in that country?
Yeah, I talked a lot to Jason, right, about culture. That was the beginning of our friendship. We were talking a lot about our differences in culture and all. So I knew exactly what I was going to face there, right? Um, and I was very comfortable, but a big part of that was because he was with me, right?
Yeah, of
And we planned it very well. We knew where to go, and I knew how I could behave or not, right? So it was very nice, very comfortable. I loved being around his family. I loved the whole experience.
Yeah.
what did you like the most about India?
Oh my God, that's a hard question. I love the food, and I also love the the family structures there, how close everyone is. That's very nice.
Yes, and was there something what was maybe shocking for you, or maybe you don't understand? Because as I said, Indian culture is totally different. Yeah, or everything was just normal and smooth. It's also possible.
Everything was different, right? That's very funny about traveling so far, that everything is different. Oh, like if you just go out on the streets and you look around, it's completely different, right?
Yes, of course.
So
So there
everything
no shocking
was
or
very
like
different.
moments what like surprised you, maybe something, or
I don't like I already knew that being a woman in India is a bit hard, especially if you look foreigner, right?
Yes.
But I wasn't actually prepared for the kind of restrictions I was put in, right? I couldn't go anywhere by myself, like not even a few blocks away to the store, right? And I was expecting to have few restrictions, but that was very shocking to me, like how restricted I was, right? In the sense of my independence, how I could come and go to places, who I could talk to, how I could move around it, right? As it was very restricted. It was very hard for me. I think that's the hardest part.
Yes, I can imagine, because I think for all the girls who are even living in India, they're all complaining, yeah, that they can't go just openly somewhere, and they always have to wait if when the husband come from work, or the family have accompanied them if they want to go somewhere. Yeah, it's kind of it's totally different world. Yeah, and I think in the south it's still much more safe. If we are talking about
Yeah.
safety of women,
Yeah.
especially if I compare with the north of India, there I would never go alone anywhere, because you don't really feel, especially in the capital, yeah, but everyone is looking at you, everyone is just staring, yeah, so you don't feel comfortable. You probably also felt the same. And so you said in India for 2 months, and then you went back
Three
to
months.
Brazil.
3 months.
3 months, yes, sorry. And you said, in a long distance relationship for before you actually met, for how long?
Okay.
Uh, for
2 years.
3 years.
2 years.
Initially, before we met, 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then,
Before we met 2 years, then he came. Then after 1 year, I went. So,
So I can imagine that it's pretty difficult to be away from each other, and you couldn't meet like regularly, like some couples just travel every month or something. But what can you recommend to other couples, like who are in a long distance relationship, how to make it easier, maybe, like especially if it's not possible to meet so often? So based on your experience.
something that has always helped is we like to do everything together, right? We made each other a part of each other's lives, even far, right? So as we said, like I knew his family, he knew my family. I like to cook, so sometimes we would just play like, okay, what can you find in India that I can find here, and we can cook together. The
That's
same
fun.
recipe, right? Then we would watch movies together, always do stuff together, right? That helps not to just like have a life and then stop a little bit to talk to that person, make the person a part of your life. I think helps like tone down the big distance there is, right?
Yes, of course, because it's really hard. I can imagine. I wasn't in this situation, but yeah, 2 years, and then again 1 year of waiting. Yeah, some couples wait for 5 years. I think you're really heroes, guys, I would say. And I'm so happy that you're finally together. And you got married last year in Brazil. So can you please tell a bit about your marriage? So did you have a traditional Brazilian wedding? Maybe you can tell Beatriz a few words how Brazilian, what is actually Brazilian wedding? Are there any special rituals which are not like which are not in the other countries you can see?
Mm, actually, our wedding wasn't traditional at all. I never wanted a wedding party. I've never been so much into big celebrations. That was actually a problem at the beginning because he's Indian. So, um, he wanted something big and he thought his family would be upset if they didn't have something big, right? Then, years, I think the years itself sorted that out. But the time itself sorted that out. Their family, his family was very fine with the fact that we weren't going to have anything big, right? And tried to introduce some Indian things also, right? That were very important to him. Like Indians have too many wedding traditions, right? So we chose the ones that were really important to him, like the sari, the flowers, the necklace, right? So all those things that were very relevant to him, those we included, but we tried to make it very simple, very cozy for us also.
So you combined, let's say, some Indian traditions and something from Brazil. Yes, so it was a unique wedding. Did you have a lot of guests? How it is actually in Brazil? Are there also a lot of people invited to attend the wedding? So I don't think it's like in India, maybe there can be 1,000 guests, 500 guests.
In Brazil, people have hundreds of guests usually, but as I said, we wanted something small. So we had like 30 people, only the people who were very, very important to us. And we made it very small because weddings themselves are very tiring, right? It was already very tiring for us. We didn't want it any bigger.
Yeah, and you still didn't have Indian wedding. They're even more tiring because it takes sometimes 3 days, even 4 days, and it's really difficult. But are you planning to have a big Indian wedding later on?
No.
No, you just prefer to keep it simple. Yeah, I can understand because it's really for some girls it's kind of shocking to see so many guests and especially whom you don't know at all. And yeah, and 3-4 days weddings, yeah, it's too tiring. And another question I would like to ask you, because you are both from different cultures, religions, backgrounds, are there any challenges are you facing in your daily life, maybe due to culture difference, or how do you feel, or what are the main actually culture difference do you really face, like, or everything is fine, you don't really feel that big difference?
Myself, like I do not. Like I miss my food, but whenever she finds the time, she cooks Indian food. Like last time, we made butter chicken, chicken tikka masala,
Wow.
and everything. Then my duty is to wash the dishes. So she cooks nicely. So other than that, I was not very attached to the culture of Indian, right? I was a Catholic. I was born Catholic in India, right? And she's evangelic here, and so we have some common grounds, right? And there is nothing that we have in cultural issue with cultural things.
I think the only moment where I felt like this big cultural challenge was actually the first time I went to India. And I was used to him mostly with me, right? And I
Yes.
was used to the way he was with me and with my family. And when I went there, there is a whole Indian personality that comes out, right? He was, even when there was no one else around, just the two of us, he was much more serious, more focused on what he was doing, much less playful. That was a bit challenging to me. We had to talk about that because that was just like I wasn't expecting that a second personality. Yeah, there is an Indian personality apparently that's much more serious.
So it's, right? Like showing affection in India is not that well known, right? And so I had to, like, I was trying, but it's not, I could do that, right? It's other people I have to think about because they are not comfortable with me, right? Then she used to, like, when we go to in the train and she used to, like, forcing me to like, let's you are so shy, right? Let me kiss you. Right? So that was she was annoying me with that, but I then explained it, so it is fine. Is it fine?
Yeah, but the weird thing is even when we were like both of us, right? We just woke up, we were alone in the house. He would be serious, very serious. It's like a whole entire personality, right? That uh he's used to being, right, to having to be serious. So even when He could be more playful or more comfortable. He was still very serious, right? That was very unexpected to me.
It's in the air.
Yes, yes, of course. It's a part of Indian culture, yeah, because some things are not really like what you can do in your country. It's not always that you can do the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, in India, it's even you cannot like in some families, wife and husband, they cannot hold each other's hands in front of the parents. I'm not talking about kissing. Yes, kissing is not even possible. Yeah, so of course it's not the same in Brazil where people are very open and they love to express their feelings. I think in public it's not a problem. Yeah. So yeah. So rather than that, you didn't really face any really, like big culture differences, which was maybe shocking or difficult to accept.
I don't think so.
No.
It's just
Yeah.
tiny things like that. Yeah.
Eating in the hands.
Eating in the hands was fine, but in his house there is no salt in the rice, and that is a big deal to me apparently.
Why? Why?
Those teeny tiny
Oh,
things, right? Saltless rice, like that's just too much for me.
yes, and since we started okay talking about food, yeah, let me ask you, how did you like Indian food? What is your favorite dish, Beatriz? And what about Brazilian cuisine? Do you like it, Jason? Or what do you actually cook at home? Mostly like mixed sometimes, or more Indian, more Brazilian. So how is it in your family?
I love masala dosa. I love Indian food, especially breakfast food. Breakfast food is really good because it's not that spicy, right?
Yes, of course.
I love the and he's from Mangalore. They have some special buns they make in morning, banana buns. I love those buns. So I really love Indian food, especially the breakfast one. And we do it here sometimes, but it's very demanding, right? Indian food is very complicated to make. It's usually like in a lot of steps and all, right? So we do it when we have time on weekends, and every day we eat Brazilian food because that's easier.
Yeah.
Yes, and what is actually like traditional breakfast in your state, in your family? What do you normally eat? Because again, I'm more familiar with the north, so I think in each state it's different. So what do you normally eat on breakfast? Because you said that you especially you liked Indian breakfast.
Yeah, in mine it's like dosa, like with many kinds of dosa, right? Then idli, and then she told, right, there's something called mangalore buns made up
Yeah.
of banana and dough, right? So we do that.
Chapati, coconut chutney.
Chapati and with the coconut chutney. So those are the things we repeat, like, right? So keep on repeating the same for a week. So that's the normal breakfast we do.
So you prefer South Indian food, or do you like something from North Indian food? Because you were mentioning, I think, some dishes with chicken. I think they are North Indian mostly.
Yeah, what?
I like I don't know a lot of North Indian food, right? Because I went to the South and I've been to the South for 3 months, right? So, but one thing I do like, breakfast foods are always my favorite. So, chole bhature, I love
Oh yes.
it.
So this is something what I'm missing so much because here you can get it, but still it's not the same. And not everywhere you can get it. Yes, I don't know if you can easily get Indian food in Brazil. Are there many Indian restaurants?
Just a few. There are a few, and usually they're very pricey.
And they're
Yeah,
very far also from where we live.
but how did you handle spice level in India? Because yeah, I heard that especially in the south, people eat very spicy food. I don't know how it is in your family. Again, it depends on the family. But was it was it difficult for you?
It is very spicy. When we were at his mom's house, his mom would always cook the non-spicy food for me, but non-spicy food is still very spicy. when we were out to eat, we always also went for the non-spicy food, right? Whatever people said, okay, what do you have that is less spicy or that is non-spicy? They would recommend that. We would eat that. That was probably very spicy still, but it was something that I could eat, right? So the how spicy things were always a bit of an issue. But that's something you get over, right? It's so good, like, but it's so good. You get used to spiciness.
So now, yeah, a little bit more used to spicy food. You can handle it better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about Brazilian food, Jaison? How do you like it? Your favorite dishes? Because I think in Brazil people eat a lot of meat. That's what I heard.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm used to eating meat, so I like here, and they have this churrasco, it's basically like barbecue, right? The Brazilian barbecue. So I like that. Then mostly the sweets, right? They have brigadeiro is like very nice sweet. Then they have snacks called coxinha, that is basically a dough filled with chicken, right? Shredded chicken. So that is also very nice. Then there are variety of food like her mom makes food which doesn't she mixes all the recipes and makes some food. So when I ask her what is this called, then she's like, don't ask me what is this called. So yeah, but she cooks well. Then other than that, there is food called moqueca de baiana. It's baiana is one more state they have. So there is the called moqueca. So that food is very nice. I think it's made of fish, right? Yeah, it's fish. Then we have Kamarangi Moringa. It's basically prawns inside pumpkin. So that also I love. It seems like more Indian food because they have this sauce kind of thing, right? So that seems very South Indian food to me. So I love right. And so tapioca is also, I think, North, right? Not Brazilian.
Everywhere.
It's everywhere. It's also everywhere, but each state has their own version of it, right? And then they have couscous, right? That also is everywhere, and like
Mostly northern.
yeah, mostly northern, and they have different version there also. But I love that. Then mostly here we eat, the bread with like pão de queijo, this bread with cheese, then the bread inside filled with the what is that called? Shredded this chicken.
Chicken?
Yeah,
Chicken.
yeah, chicken, then mortadella. So those are the food that I like here
Yeah,
commonly.
because just realized that I didn't try anything out of Brazilian food because you mentioned so many dishes and I was like, wow, what is it? Yeah, because I'm not a meat eater and actually my husband he is vegetarian, so I don't know if there are many vegetarian dishes in Brazilian cuisine because you were mentioning mostly like something with meat or with fish. Yes, is there something vegetarian?
There is, but mostly meat. Traditionally, Brazilians are not
Yes, yeah,
not
that I
vegetarian.
know.
Nowadays, of course, we are not, and traditionally we're not. So it's very hard to find traditional Brazilian foods that don't contain any kind of meat, actually.
Yes, no, that's what I heard. And do you like Beatriz Indian sweets?
Yeah, I love them. When I met Jaison, I already knew a few sweets, and I had a couple of Indian friends that brought me once when I was like, they were my father's friends. So I was like a teenager. I ate it, but I didn't know the name, right? Then Jaison was on a mission to figure out what was that sweet that I loved that I don't remember the name. And it was on PUBG, so that's I had this very um, cozy teenager memory of me eating son papdi, and I love gulab jamun also. That was something when I met him that I told him I've always wanted to try, right? I never tried, but I looked at it and it was so cute, I wanted. So there was a few things. We went to Goa, right? And there's something we got to know there called bebinka, which is awesome. Also, I love it. Many
No, I don't think.
sweets. Faluda also. Kesar faluda is awesome. I love it so much.
Yes, no, there are a lot of sweets in India. I think I didn't even try half of it, but for me they are a little bit too sweet, like especially gulab jamun. It's like so sugary and this syrup. I can't eat it just like that. I need some tea or coffee or something because it's extremely
Yeah.
sweet. I don't think we have such sweets, let's say. I don't know if people are used to it in Brazil. What is the traditional sweet in Brazil? What do you eat? Like the most common one?
Yeah, I think the most common one is brigadeiro when it is very, very sweet. So we're
Yes.
used to very sweet sweets.
So you're used to it then. Yeah, because I never tried it, so I don't know. So I think it might be tasty. But what it is made of? Is it also with sugar something?
Brigadeiro is made with chocolate and condensed milk, so you
Oh,
can imagine it's very
yeah,
sweet.
I can imagine. Condensed milk and chocolate, yes. The best combination indeed.
Yeah, you have a sweet, just condensed milk, right? Doce de leche.
Oh yeah, we have a sweet that is just like based on milk and sugar, right? Which is doce de leite, right? That's actually all all America has it, right? Especially South and Latin America, right? Has doce de leite,
Yeah.
and it's like just based on condensed milk, right? You can make it with just condensed milk and just
No,
heat it up
that
and
I might
become
like because
doce
I
de
like
leite.
condensed milk. Yes, but I really want to try something because I have never been to South America. I think it would be really, really amazing to discover something new. And I would like to ask you, what language do you speak at home, Jason? I saw some videos that you already speak Portuguese. I was impressed. Yeah. So how come you learn so fast? Yeah. Or are you attending some course, or are you learning by yourself?
Yeah, I'm learning since 4 years, but it's very difficult, right? But when I talk with the mom, we mostly talk in Portuguese, but yeah, Portuguese. And whenever I talk in English with her mom comes and say, talk in Portuguese. Otherwise, how would I learn? So mostly when we talk something important, we talk in English. Otherwise, when we have a lot of time to talk, then we talk in Portuguese with my broken Portuguese. Yeah.
So you are actually fluent enough to speak really like, because how long do you stay in Brazil already?
Sorry.
How long
Shreya.
do you stay in Brazil?
Forever.
Yeah, we're planning to stay here, but it's been here since December?
November end.
November.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but you are learning mostly by yourself or just by practicing with the family.
Yeah, and this app, right, Duolingo, I do daily courses there,
Yes.
so then
Do you
and it's
find it
necessary to
difficult?
work,
Because
right?
I had some Brazilian friends. They told me if you want to learn Spanish, it's easy, but Portuguese is much more difficult, especially grammar and pronunciation. So, is it easy for you to learn?
No, it's not that easy to me to learn. But to learn basic, right? It's okay. Like you can do it in few months. But to master it, like they have very kinds of grammar, so that is difficult. Otherwise, the common, when you the conversational Portuguese is easy. But to work as a professional, then you
Yes.
might need
And
Portuguese. Right?
of
So
course,
most of the
Brazilian
time,
Portuguese is different than Portuguese from Portugal, and I think Brazilian is much more sweet. I don't know. We used to have a lot of Brazilian serials when I was a child, and I was watching all of that. And I think your favorite word, all Brazilians are used a lot. Oh meu Deus! It was like every 5 minutes. Oh my Deus, oh my Deus. I was like, oh no, but it's very sweet. The way how you speak, I think people in Portugal they speak differently. Yeah, it's the
yeah.
same language, but you speak or maybe pronunciation is different. Some words are different, I heard. But it's really
Yeah.
beautiful language, but I find it that even pronunciation is difficult. I try to learn it from Duolingo, and I think Spanish is much easier for me, for example. I'm not sure. Maybe for some people, yes. And what about you, Beatriz? Do you understand something in Konkani? Yeah. Are you learning it a bit? Some words, some sentences?
Uh, Konkani is very hard, and the hardest thing about Konkani is it is mostly spoken language, right? So it's very hard to find books on it, especially because Konkani is the official language of Goa. But
Yes.
Goan Konkani is completely different from Mangalorean Konkani, right?
Really?
Mangalore is just like one city, right? So the Konkani he speaks is a Konkani that only exists, his language only exists in Mangalore, in the tiny Catholic community that is there, right? So that is what makes it hard to learn, because it's not something you can get Duolingo, Mangalorean Konkani, right? Uh, so that is very tough. But I am able to I mostly cannot speak in Konkani, but I am able to understand the conversations, what they're talking about, um, and I can say few things, but I cannot really talk in Konkani. But one good thing, I don't know if it's good or bad actually, is that he speaks many languages, right? Indian people speak many
Yes.
languages, so
True.
yeah, and then you can always get find some that is easier, right? I've been learning Hindi because Hindi is easier uh, to get across with, right? You can in North India, you can everyone speaks Hindi. In South India, you can find people who speak Hindi. He speaks Hindi,
Uh-huh.
right? So
Then it's
that's
easier.
like
No, if you
better.
go to
Yeah,
Tamil Nadu
that's
or to
easier because
Kerala,
it is
no one speaks
Duolingo in
there.
Hindi.
It depends where are you going. Yeah, because I know that people in the south they don't like to speak Hindi. That's
Yeah,
why, yeah. But I think again it depends. So Hindi, I don't know how is Konkani. I was actually very surprised that you speak Konkani, because I always knew that it's the language of Goa, and you were not from Goa. So I was wondering why Konkani then. Then it should be Kannada in your state. It's an official language, and
yeah.
yes, so there are so many languages, and I agree that Hindi is the easiest, actually, I would say. For me, at least, South Indian languages, it's like, it's very tough to learn, especially Tamil, Malayalam. I really wanted to learn when I was a child, but it's extremely difficult. You need a teacher. I think you can't do it alone. With Hindi, you can, but with
Yeah.
South Indian languages, so I think now it's
But
easier.
the Canada, I love the alphabet. It's so pretty.
Yeah.
I love, like, when I went to Bangalore, they have a law, right? They have to write the store names in Canada also. And that is the cutest thing. I love I love seeing all the signs in
No, the
Canada.
letters are very cute. Yes, yes. But to pronounce and to speak, I'm not so sure
Yeah.
that it's easy. Yes, no,
Just a
South
cool
Indian
picture of
languages
all
are
the
very
birds.
beautiful. Yeah, but now it's easier. Now, of course, you have internet, you have Duolingo, you can actually learn online. So when I was learning, there was nothing, no internet, no books. So it was my initiative, my patience. Yeah, so now it's much easier. If you really want to learn, you can do it. Yeah. And Jaison, I would like to ask you, so now you're living in Brazil, so could you
Yeah.
find your circle of friends there? Is it easy for an outsider to find friends among locals? I know that Brazilians are very open people, very friendly, but still, in some countries it's very difficult to make friends among locals. And do you prefer to communicate with your family only, or only with expats, or is it like, do you really found your circle already?
Now currently like offline, her circle is my circle. Then I have like few friends online I never met, and so we mostly do not go out a bit. Like I alone never go out. I always go out with her. So I'm like not used to making friends. Also, it takes time for me to make friends. But once I make friends, I get very comfortable. So not that I do not have any friend circle here, right? So maybe when I start working, then I would have.
But is it difficult for a foreigner to find a job in Brazil, or it depends on the profession?
You can easily find like if you are related to IT field, right? Because there doesn't require much the Portuguese language, right? It's mostly about the coding, which is actually that is not language dependent, right? But however, like if you're from marketing background, MBA or something, then it involves a lot of communication with people. So that might be difficult. But once you are very good in Portuguese, right? It might be same as finding a job in other country. But other than that, and you need to know people, right? That's the only thing. So now currently I have her, so she helps me to find the job and all. But if you do not know people, then it might be difficult.
So you really need to know the language if you really want to find
Um,
a
yes,
good job.
yes,
Yeah,
that's
so
very.
without Portuguese you can't survive.
That
Yeah,
is the
because there are
biggest
some countries.
barrier. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, in some countries you can easily find job with English, but I think it's not everywhere for sure, even for IT people. They are more lucky,
Yeah.
I would say. Yes, and
Yeah.
yeah. So I think it's you are in Brazil not for a long time yet. So with time, everything will change, and of course, you will find friends and everything. And are you planning to stay in Brazil in a long term, or do you want to move to India or somewhere else? What are your plans for the nearest future? Let's say I don't like to talk about what will happen after 10 years. I can, yes, because no one knows that.
Yeah, currently I plan to stay here, so because it's better for her and better for me, right? So and if she gets to India, then she has to face a lot of the cultural issues and all. And I do not want to her to get that unpleasant experience for her. So I'm very okay with being here. And other than that, I have health issues, and if I being there, so maybe sometimes she will be alone and she may not know like how to get go out and get the things
Yeah.
explored and all. It's not I'm saying she's not capable, but she is capable. But you know how India is, right? So that I'm mostly preoccupied with those things. Other than that, it's totally fine. So I am very okay to be here.
No, that's very important, and I can understand, of course, for Beatrice, it's easier to be in her country for everyone, yeah. But mostly girls sacrifice, have to sacrifice and go to somewhere else. Yeah, it depends from where the husband from. Yeah, but in your case, it's actually good. Maybe you can live in both countries sometime. Yeah, sometime in Brazil, sometime in India. Yes, and one question which I ask everyone, yeah, all the girls, yeah. So, Beatrice, what can you recommend to the girls who are in a relationship with Indian men? How to understand that guy is serious, and how to prevent misunderstanding and some problems in the future? Because again, Indian culture is different. What would you recommend based on your experience?
Well, first of all, like for any distance relationship, no matter with whom, right? It's always, I think, very necessary to know people around that person, right? Just to make sure that uh, they're not fooling you, right? People are
Yeah,
being
that's
fully
easy.
honest. You get other points of view on how that person is, right? So that was very important to me. That's maybe a bit tricky in Indian culture because Indian people don't really like introducing people to their parents and all, right? Usually they have strict families, but you need someone around them, friends, someone that can get to talk to you also. That's very important to me. And I think talk, right? Something that was very important to us is that we were very open about each other's culture, even before we started dating. And we talked openly about our cultural differences and also that helped us prepare for the different cultural differences we could face, right, along the way. Because I already knew him, I knew his culture, he knew me, he knew my culture. Any worries we had about that, we could always discuss, we could always talk to each other. So that really, really helped.
But do you think it's important to meet the family before you decide something really serious? Like, I mean, to meet the family of the guy, yes. Because
I
as
think
you
it's important
yourself,
to know someone. I think it's important to know someone around them. Could be friends, right?
no,
Someone around them to,
no, but
yeah,
I mean, for example,
to,
if it's really serious, is it important to meet the parents, yeah, before you decide like to marry, or it's okay,
definitely.
yeah, meet them online, say hi, and that's all.
Definitely. Indian families play a big part in the decision of marrying or not marrying, right? So the guy could be very decided, then he talks to their family has a different opinion. That is definitely going to affect everything, right? So
Yeah,
it's very
you
important
said
to
yourself
know
that
the family, to build a relationship with the family as well, right?
yes, that's true. That's the biggest difference actually. And as you said yourself, that Indian guys, it takes some time for them to introduce the girl to the family because they're afraid that what would be the reaction of the family, how they will actually accept the fact, yeah, that she's someone from a different culture. Yes, and I know many guys they don't have courage to do that, and I think I don't know if you agree with me or not. It can be the red flag if the guy also postponed the meeting with the family again and again, and
Yeah.
then you should really think. I think that maybe something is wrong. Maybe he's not really,
Mhm.
don't know, brave enough, or maybe he's not serious enough. I would say, yeah,
Yeah.
because if you are
Mhm.
serious, sooner or later you will introduce your partner. Okay, if she is from another country, it doesn't matter. You should have courage to say, okay, I love her, I want to be with her. So that's the main
Mhm.
problem, I think, with many Indian men. They don't have this courage.
I think we introduced in a week only.
Yeah, we introduced right away, right? Because we weren't actually expecting anything to be any serious, right? So
Yeah, so you
that,
just
that
introduce.
happened right away. That happened a bit naturally.
Yes, maybe it's better actually to introduce first as a friend and then gradually to
Yeah.
prepare them. Yes, because there are a lot of sad stories. And Jaison, I would really like to ask you this question because you probably also get a lot of messages from Indian guys who are desperate to marry foreigner women. It's like my my box, like mailbox, is full of messages. Please find me a foreigner girl. I want someone from America. I want someone from England. Okay, it's like it's like every day a lot of messages. So what would you recommend to your, let's say, country mates? Like, do you think that intercultural relations are for everyone? I honestly believe that it's not for everyone. A lot of Indian guys, when I ask why do you want a foreigner girl, they tell me because they are beautiful, because they are kind, they are nice, and I say that's all. Have you ever met any foreigner girl in your life? No. But then how do you know that they are so nice and so beautiful, so kind? Okay, I just saw some movies, but they don't know anything in real life. So I think it's not for everyone, and it's not so easy like some people think. Oh, okay, I will marry someone from abroad. We will learn each other culture. It's so nice. It's so beautiful. So what would you recommend? What would you say like? For Indians who are really desperate and they maybe don't even understand what it can lead to sometimes.
Like I think it's better to actually find the person in India, right? Because if you have a if you're not very committed, if you do not ready to face a lot of challenges, right? If you're not ready to know other person's culture and not get to used to it, if you're not open-minded, and if you're being judgy about all the things, then it's not for you, right? It's better for you to be finding person in India where you have at least some common ground, right?
Yes,
To establish a very strong relationship, right? But what I heard, like there are many persons who are like people, right? Who have some fantasy towards the Westerners or the people. So I'd say like do not like it's kind of it is not good as an impression, and so it's like how you say in a good terms it's like not it's online harassment basically, right? If you want someone to be with you like specifically for reasons, it's not good for you and the good for the other person. That will not end up with the relationship you want to be in, right? It will always end up in a bad way. So if you want to be in a good way, like talk, then take it slowly, be understand with the culture, understand what is going to come next, right? What you're going to face next, get prepared for it, then only like proceed with that relationship. Otherwise it's not for you.
Yeah,
It's challenging.
exactly. Because I know a lot of Indian guys, they marry some foreigner women and they try to make they try to make them to behave like Indian girls, and I wonder why do you need to marry someone from abroad? It's easier to marry an Indian girl, yeah, and just okay. For her, it's normal to behave like a typical Indian wife. And when someone asks me, find me someone from America, I find it kind of a little bit strange. Why from America? You are falling in love with the person, not with the country, actually. So for me, it's like a red flag. If the person is looking particularly for the country, it might be that he wants to move to that country, and this is the main reason why he wants someone from there. Because
Yeah,
why
it's more.
America? Because mostly they mention, like Western countries, like rich Western countries, like because America, Canada, like UK, it's like a dream countries for most of Indians, I would say. And so for me, it's strange. I think you agree with me that when someone asks for, yeah, yeah, it
Like
can
if you
be,
feel like it's benefiting you, right? If something is benefiting you, be in that relationship, like not, it's mostly like materially if it's benefiting you, or it's like if you want to have a PR, if you want to move to that country just for that sake, or if you just want a pretty girl from other country, and if you want to show her off, then it's not for you, like it's not good for you. Like if you're very serious, you do not want to those benefits, you do not think about those, then you can always proceed with it, there is nothing wrong. But thinking of the benefits and proceeding with the relationship, it's not, you have to sacrifice something. Then if you are benefiting at least something, then it's okay, right? But the relationship is more about the sacrifice, right? It's not the benefits.
yes, that's true. And some people, yeah, they are honest. Sometimes they write me directly that, okay, I want to marry someone from America because of PR or something. I want to get a green card. Then, of course, it's clear that person just want to get papers. Yeah, he doesn't really care. Yeah, he doesn't want to have a serious relationship. And then it's at least it's honest, yeah. But when you can play with someone like emotions, feelings, yeah, and person is serious about you, and then it turn out that okay, you simply want to escape your country, just and you are using someone for that, then I think it's really bad, yeah. And there are a lot of guys on internet who are like that. That's why genuine Indian guys are suffering. Yeah, I was telling many times, yeah, that because of these examples. I don't know if you are getting this type of messages, probably also. Beatriz, as a girl, tell us, are you getting messages from Indian guys? I think it's like
Yeah.
probably probably all the time. I just heard from other girls that they get messages, they know that they're married, they know that they have kids, but they say we still get a lot of messages from Indian guys, but I don't understand why. What do you
Yeah,
get
I
out of
also
it?
don't understand. It's very weird for me when I posted pictures of me and him getting married. That's when I got most messages from Indians. And if I'm posting picture of me happily married, why would I want an Indian to come talk to me, right?
No,
In
that's
a
weird.
flirty way, right?
But
That doesn't make any sense to me also.
yes, but
Apparently she has a very beautiful smile.
no, that's of course they always write, oh, you have beautiful eyes, your smile is so beautiful, you are like an angel, yeah. No, but if you see the girl is married, I don't know. What do they think? Okay, if you compliment the girl, she will leave your husband and say, okay, oh yes, thank you so much for your compliments. Yeah, I'm ready to be with you or what? That's really strange. Yeah, you know. And sometimes they simply write, I love you. This is really, for me, I don't know. They make
Yeah.
fools of themselves, honestly. Yeah, they see that the girl is
Yeah.
married. She's not hiding it. It's written in her profile. She has pictures, everything. But how dare they to write something like this? Really. So for me, yeah, I think maybe I don't understand Indian mentality completely, but of course not everyone is the same. Yeah. So yeah, I wish you a lot of strength to handle it because yeah, sometimes it's really annoying. I can imagine. Yeah, and I think Jaison, you were showing something earlier. What you were getting, what type of messages, crazy ones, yeah, yeah, from Indian guys. Yes. So I would really like to thank you for this wonderful conversation. I'm glad that we could talk because there was some problem with connection. Sometimes I couldn't really hear you properly or the picture wasn't so clear, but I think we are located in different parts of the world, so it can happen. But the great thing that we could still meet. So thank you so much for your time, for answering all my questions, and I would like to thank everyone who were watching us. I saw a lot of comments, but I just couldn't follow all of them. Yes, I think if you have any questions for Beatriz and Jaison, please write them down to maybe under the interview, or you can contact them directly if you want to ask something. If you are interested to know more about them, you are always free to follow them. I'm not talking to Indian guys who are looking for beautiful smiles. No, you're not allowed. I'm talking if there are couples who are interested to know you more. Yeah. And let's keep in touch. I would love to meet you again because I have a lot of ideas. Yeah, you know, so maybe we can talk about something else, like some particular topic to discuss, maybe a few people together. So thank you very much for your time, and I wish you a wonderful day. Yes, for you it's still kind of early. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
great night. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you.
Bye.